Welcome to Let's Build Something. Today we're going to build a vampire killing kit. We're going to start by making the props that'll go inside of the box. I want vials of different herbs and liquids that can be harmful to a vampire. I also want a stake and a mallet. And I've also been thinking about a way to weaponize holy water. These were actual things that were made in the 18th century, so I want it to look like it was made in the 18th century, so I'm going to be aging everything. I'm going to start with the vials. I have these little vials that I got really cheaply off Amazon. They come in different sizes and they all have their own cork. Like I said, I want to fill these with different herbs and liquids, and I've settled on this list. I want holy water, powdered garlic, salt, black peppercorn, virgin's blood, bone powder, wolf's bane, and dillweed. All of these are apparently toxic to vampires, and some can be used as diversions. I don't know a whole lot about vampires, so you can look that up on your own. Once I got the vials filled, I printed out labels, cut them to fit, then glued them on using a watered down PVA. Then I aged each label using coffee and scratching at the edges. I also did this to a large vial of fresh garlic. This is how they all looked at the end. I wanted to add a little extra layer of protection so that the vials don't open in the box, so I gave them all a wax seal. I'm really quite happy with how these look. The labels turned out amazing. The wax seal I think adds another layer of protection so that they won't open in the box. And since I'm so happy with these, I'm going to stop messing with them. Like I said earlier, I want a way to weaponize holy water. So I got these clear Christmas ornaments, and I think I'm going to turn them into a holy water grenade. So I hopped onto Fusion 360, and using measurements from this, I was able to model a lid to go around this to keep the liquid inside. It also has decorations, a blasting cap, and a button on top. The way I printed these kind of erased the button, as you can see, since I printed them like that. So I modeled up a little puck with a little cross on it. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm just going to glue this on top like so to act as a button. While the primer was drying, I started on the mallet and the stake. I started by cutting out larger chunks of white oak. Then I started turning them down. After I aged the stake by smacking it around and staining it, I wrapped the handle with twine. Next, I stained the mallet. Some of you may ask why I'm staining white oak when I want it to look like white oak. Wood naturally darkens with age, so a 300-year-old mallet would look pretty dark. Then I assembled the holy water grenades. Now that I've made all the props that I can make, I did some shopping. I got an 18th century pistol. That works. I also got half-inch ball bearings to work as bullets. I got a Bible that I hand-aged, and I also have a dagger and a cross that haven't come in yet. So it's time to make the box. I haven't talked about why I'm making this yet, so I'm going to do that now. My wife's birthday's coming up, and we just watched a movie called Blood Vessel. It's a vampire movie. In the movie, they had a vampire killing kit, and my girlfriend thought that was very cool. So I did some research, and I found out that they were actual, real things that people made and sold to travelers going through Eastern Europe, specifically Romania. They're now very expensive antiques, so naturally, I'm gonna make one for my wife's birthday. I started by cutting down the walls out of poplar. I'm using poplar because it's really cheap, and I don't feel bad staining it. Next, I cut the 45-degree miters, taking small passes to get an accurate cut. Then I started the glue up. I tacked it together with brad nails so that I didn't have to stop. I set in the top and bottom, then glued in the final side. Once the glue was dry, I cut my splines slots. Then I put in the walnut splines. Once the spline glue was dried, I trimmed them flush. Then I cut the lid from the rest of the box. Then I used my router to cut the mortises for my hinges. This is what the box looks like with all of the hardware installed. I also have handles on the side, but this thing's going to be heavy, so I'm not really confident in the handle's ability to pick it up. Now I need to fit all the props inside of it, and to do that I'm going to use 1/4-inch plywood with self-adhesive velvet. My wife's favorite color is purple, so naturally it's going to be purple. To make the cubbies, I cut the plywood to fit, then wrap it in the velvet and trim away the excess. Then use super glue to fix them in place. And this is what it looked just before completion. My wife's birthday was yesterday and she absolutely loved this thing. So I'm going to give you the final reveal and we're going to go through everything inside. Alright, so to start, this was a letter that I wrote to her detailing everything inside of the box and what it's used for. I hand aged this. You don't get to read that. That was just for my wife. And I also gave it a nice wax seal. Moving on from there, we have 7 bullets. We have our pistol in here. Back here we have a little photo showing a vampire. We have another photo showing a vampire's skeletal system. And then we have our mallet that fits in right there along with another piece of paper. Put that back. This paper has the cardiovascular system of someone's arm. Probably good information if you're going to be fighting vampires. And then in this small pocket here, we have our stake. Right here we have our rosary, which I also bought. I wasn't able to make this. And that fits inside this pouch, and the pouch fits right there. Next we have our garlic, fresh garlic. We have another piece of paper showing just a castle. I don't know, kind of thought it was cool. Then we have our weaponized holy water with a button, decorations, and a blasting cap inside. Up here we have all of our herbs. We have powdered garlic, black peppercorn, holy water, salt, wolfsbane, virgin's blood, bone powder, and dillweed. The virgin's blood is simply red food coloring, and it turned out really, really well. We have a dagger with a photo of a vampire. And then we have our cross, that is a friction fit. Then we have our Bible, and then right here we have a little drawer that I have the lock and key in just for safekeeping. But this was a last minute addition with some matches and the striker strip on the back. So that is everything that you need to take on a vampire, and I'm very happy with this build. This build is finished, so let's talk about mistakes. Mistake number one, the handles I bought weren't strong enough to support the weight, and they immediately broke. I had to fill in some of the voids with wood filler because the box was quickly thrown together. I think that's all the mistakes I made. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, I'd really appreciate it if you would hit the like button, and I'd also love to hear what you thought about it in the comments section below. You have a great day.